One commentator I read said it, the gospel setting shows Jesus' opponents trying to maneuver him into a corner by asking him the controversial question of whether the Jews were allowed by their law to pay taxes to the Roman power that occupied their country. Their aim was to trap him. If Jesus replied they should pay the Roman tax, he would be accused of betraying his people and collaborating with their enemy. Now, we don't really understand that, do we? None of us have really lived with an occupying force where even the slightest emotive moment by a centurion could lead to a flogging or death or imprisonment. We don't understand that at all. It's very foreign to our context. We live in a land of rights. I remember when we came here 26 years ago from South Africa, just being quite astounded at the American commitment to individual rights. I loved it, until I realized it became an idol where my right becomes way more important than what benefits the community. Now, in this same culture, they're trying to trap Jesus to get him to say something that aligns himself with either the Herodians, who in turn agreed with the tax, or the Pharisees, who were themselves in opposition to the Roman government. Let me carry on reading. On the other hand, if he replied that they should not pay the tax, he should be denounced to the Romans as a troublesome rebel. Now, what a challenge. Are you a troublesome rebel, Jesus? Or are you an unloyal person? You are non-patriotic. Now, most church leadership finds itself in that dastardly position of heads I lose, tails I lose. That's where they painted Jesus. We live in that space, and that could be true of parents. It could be true of you as a Christian businessman or woman. It could be you leading a nonprofit or a school. You continuously find yourself painted in the corner by those who are seeking to expose you. And so here in this moment, we have this great Jesus lesson, which I think will be helpful. More recently, we who are in church leadership have found ourselves torn between, on the one hand, church and state. Come on, church, we should meet. Masks off. Let's believe God. Let's get together again. And why must we bow to the state? And I'm speaking as a Californian who, driven largely by Christians are trying to get Governor Newsom recalled. Who does he think he is? We know that we can meet. See, all of this, and then those who are seeking to honor government and validate their decision and understand it. What do we do? Biden versus Trump. What do we do? How do we administrate the conservatism versus progressives? How do we handle the historical versus the futurist values? What do we do when local and federal government are at war with each other, pro and anti-vaxxers? What do we do, Antifa or the Proud Boys? Many years ago, Meryl and I planted when I was 24 and she was 21. What you can obviously assume is we were not only green, we were completely ignorant, and what we lacked in knowledge, we had in passion. You know what I mean? What you don't know, you don't know. And we just set out in this incredible adventure called church planting. I loved every minute of that first community that we planted. But I soon realized that I was facing things. It was apartheid South Africa. I was a privileged white person having all the benefits of the best schools, best universities, best suburbs, best income. My family started off poor but became upper middle class. And now I'm leading a church, and I'm suddenly faced with the stark reality of the injustice of a nation that suppressed, openly and overtly oppressed, politically and economically, socially, and in every way, educationally, those who were non-whites, as they were so broadly categorized. And I realized I couldn't be silent. But my job was not now to stand on a soapbox and tout a communist or socialist agenda, nor could I defend a capitalistic, consumeristic, materialistic agenda. And I went to God, I said, God, what do I do? What do I do? And I heard my mouth pray a prayer for me. Wisdom, humility, and authority. I don't know what to do. And I realized, dear friends, in that time that Jesus was not, the Jesus way was not the central way. It was the other way. We are not to be called to a life of mediocrity, buffeting the two extremes. We are called to another narrative. We are writing a different story.